Chapter 23, Ozona gets backlash. Ozona is about to walk into his fortress, and then he reminisces about his past. He used to be scared, but not anymore with the power that he has now. He was after the energy he has now, he finally got it after a certain event. And now he has been putting up his little performance for so long. Ozona is an Aryan, a race who are very interested in atmospheric activity, and Ozona has always wanted to control the air and more. He was that keen, and now he has that power, enabling him to be more intimidating in front of anyone, no longer showing fear in front of anyone. But this reminiscing stops as Opusnost, one of the slashus living locally from Gidari, ambushes Ozona. These slashus do vary slightly, but Opusnost has more like green skin and a brighter coat. His dual blades are dark green around the handle and light jade around the blades. The blades of a slashu are made up of quite a tough material, coming from crystallized gems that can be found in asteroids. While Opusnost is a very skilled fighter, with dual blades alongside the abilities of temporary invincibility and an astral form. Ozona, however, is way more skilled with his skills, which Hailwolf does explain to the Legion later. This includes abilities like telekinesis, wind gushes, force fields, a telekinetic sword and lightning. Because of Ozona's ability to sense a change in the air, Ozona can predict most of Opusnost's moves. Opusnost's mate Amiku earlier noticed that Opusnost did end up following Ozona hours after Ozona and Hailwolf left the planet. Amiku was hoping Opusnost would be at home after they fetched their food from their stalls, so Amiku went after Opusnost. Throughout the fight, most of the Stonos notice this. The Stonos, an army that Ozona leads, are human-sized, dark cyan, with one eye and some light blue markings all around them, and they are almost made up of stone. They have mace-like weapons that can charge up and release gushes of air, which is either as light as a push or enough to dent metal. But Ozona tells them to stand down and get them back to work. Due to Ozona's old age, he is using this easy foe to see how long he can fight. Ozona likes to be wise and experiment with how long he can last and which abilities to go for first before he gets worn out too soon. There are days when the Stonos do talk about who they are representing. In the past, they used to aid kings on many planets, but as most of those races are either extinct or lost a lot of power to keep themselves alive, they don't make themselves too imposing towards Xyanthor. Now that all Stonos are with Ozona, when it used to be multiple of them benefiting many rulers at once before they all reunite in their home world. Some Stonos are either fully in the idea or have less of a fan when they meet Ozona straight away, or dislike Ozona more as they get to know Ozona more. That is when some Stonos do bicker, wondering if it is worth staying with Ozona, finding another ruler, or becoming more of an independent race. But every time they talk about this subject, it goes back to all having to stay with Ozona, especially as Ozona keeps them on their feet very often to perform tasks such as setting up chains or keeping an eye on planets Ozona is ruling. As Ozona does give the Stonos privacy from time to time, it's this privacy which makes Ozona unaware of these conversations. But he thinks he has a good grip at a point where no Stono shall leave him, making them stay in fear. There have been cases where when Ozona has other opponents who want to fight him, he tends to be worn out depending on how tricky the opponent is. In this case, Opusnost is fast and has the ability of temporary invincibility, which Ozona is not only quite preoccupied but trying to hurt Opusnost is tricky. Opusnost does his best to swing his blades at Ozona, but Ozona counters these by using telekinesis to make Ozona overswing his blades, using simple martial arts to counter the other blade swings. Not to mention Ozona had a blade too which he often controls telekinetically, which challenges Opusnost, keeping him away from Ozona. Eventually, Opusnost loses both blades as Ozona starts to get worn out, and so performs a lightning strike from his hands to get rid of both blades from Opusnost. Ozona then grabs Opusnost still using the telekinesis and then goes to try and zap Opusnost despite having his temporary invincibility up, seeing how long Opusnost could last. Some Stonos do watch this, with some never seeing Ozona fight before, seeing why Ozona should be followed. It gets to a point where Opusnost is determined but ultimately loses, and survives because his mate Amiku stops the fight. Amiku apologizes and removes Opusnost from the planet, which Ozona just about agrees with, considering it as a peace offering, and Ozona does like his peace. Ozona will certainly kill Opusnost if Opusnost appears on Ozona's land again, Xyanthor is not the only one who gets intruders on his turf. With the fight done, Ozona makes his way to the castle, to keep tabs on the worlds he is ruling via projection technology, making sure all his worlds remain as restrictive as he likes. Opus Nost tried to kill Ozona so he could be free, mainly to leave the planet and explore for more competition, to fight other alien races, but this is what Ozona has forbidden on all planets.